And welcome back to this very special Halloween special edition of The Thought Vessel. I'm Levi.
I'm Jacoby.
And I'm Joe.
And this, of course, is The Thought Vessel. Welcome to the show. Today, as I said, we're having a very special Halloween edition, but we're going to start out with a very important question. What do we think is the best Halloween candy of 2025? Joe.
Why not just of all time? And
Of all
obviously,
time.
of all
We can
time,
open it
it's
up.
obviously Butterfinger.
Butterfinger. Interesting. Why Butterfinger?
Okay, so Butterfingers have just been one of my favorite candies for literally ever. And it is much easier to do that in bar form than the other absolute favorite candy of mine, Reese's.
That is fair. I mean, Reese's, you get all those like fun little pumpkin shapes and stuff like that.
Yeah, but it's also can get crushed by all the other candy if it's at the bottom of your bag. It can be crushed by the candy in the bowl, and it doesn't maintain its rigid shape like a Butterfinger would.
Although, hot take, I don't like the shaped Reese's as much because I like that ridge on the outside with the chocolate, the texture of that.
You're
And you
weird.
don't get that with the football shape or the pumpkin shape or the Christmas tree shape.
Legitimate blasphemy. I will see you in candy hell.
Candy hell is so real, and you're going straight there.
I'm sure it's fun to have your little pumpkin shaped Reese's, but the chocolate little cream ridge on the outside is so good. It's a texture thing for me.
I was about to say, here's Levi dying on the hill of texture.
Very autism coded.
Jacoby.
It's gotta be the king size Snickers. What are you, crazy?
Yes, actually. What are you talking about?
For whatever reason, anytime you go to a rich neighborhood,
Mm-hmm.
whenever they give you full size candy bars, if they ever do, it's always Snickers.
And you can get past security.
That's
That's
true.
easy. That's really easy to do. I don't think you understand how easy that is to do, and I'm not going to describe how to do that here.
No, that was just the callback to our last Halloween episode.
But yeah, no, it's got to be the Snickers only because you can get it in king size, and most people don't give the king size of anything else.
You got to get the one with the vein.
Anywho, go to mine here. So this one's kind of interesting for me because if I was younger nowadays, my answer might have been the Nerds gummy clusters. Ever since those have come out, those have been phenomenal. Definitely been a big fan of those. There's a lot of different options when it comes to candy, but I think those little mini Sour Patch Kids, those would probably be my go-to. Those were always super good, very consistent. You got a little bit of that sour candy. Whenever you're a kid, you read like how much sour you could tolerate, and then we'd all take a warhead and die. Those, for me, I think were probably the best Halloween candy. If I had just this giant bowl of every kind of candy, I'm probably reaching for those. Honorable mention to Milk Duds as well, because I do like Milk Duds.
Yeah, I do like Milk Duds.
The hot take of the century. Sour candy on Halloween, bad?
Why is that?
I am not a fan of sour. If I'm sitting here eating my bag of sweets, and then I go grabbing what I think is another sweet, and I get sour, I'm punching somebody in the nose.
Okay, but I don't know if that's an actual hot take since that is just personal preference.
Well, I'm saying people who like sour in their mix.
Don't you like lemon bars and stuff?
I like lemon. That's tart. That's not sour.
If we asked 10 random people on the street to describe the taste of a lemon in one word, it's going to be sour.
And they'd be wrong because they don't have an actual palate.
That's
Like
man.
lemon heads.
Calling out the
right?
general public.
Yes. I will fight everybody on this hill. Listen, lemon heads, because I know what people are going to say. They're going to be like, oh, lemon heads are a sour candy. That's an actual lemon flavor. Get out of here. That's artificial as heck.
And here I was about to go with the texture thing for me of that gummy nerds. Like I've tried it before, and the mixture of the gummy and the hard candy together was just not great.
We originally had the Nerds rope. You remember those ones, like the actual size Nerds, and now it's got like the little mini ones on there. But I like them. I think they're a lot of fun. If I was younger, I probably would put that on the top of my list. But right now, Sour Patch Kids for sure.
I think for texture, if I had to pick a candy I couldn't stand, those hard candies that turn into soft mush, you start to enjoy the candy and then it gets like really mushy soft. It's like, ugh.
Definitely fair. I think the worst candy of all time is just rock.
See, that's the funny thing. Whenever I was a kid, because like I used to love collecting rocks and stuff when I was a child, I was like, I don't understand why Charlie Brown's mad about getting rocks. I would have loved to get rocks.
This man's literally out here looking at Charlie Brown. Charlie Brown's like, I got a rock. And Levi's like, I mean, if you don't want it.
Quit complaining. It's amazing.
Oh, then, hey, trade me your Sour Patch for him.
Honestly, as a kid, I might have done that. I've been
Okay,
like, oh,
you know what?
rock.
Try to go for a bit, immediately deflected, parried, 100, just like Levi.
I don't even know, parried, more just taken to the chest and hugging you. Like, you're just like, haha, dodge this, nerd. And it just, bam. No instincts, no survival instincts whatsoever. And you're just too shocked to know what to do about it.
Yeah, correct. 100%. I think it's time to get into the topic if I don't even know what to do.
We'll get into some good old-fashioned magic content here. So we're going to be going to our next segment, which is Trick and Treat. We're going to be talking about the last couple of years, some trends in magic, a trick, something that we're kind of scared or worried about for the state of magic, and then a treat, something that we think that's been positive as we've been going through these years and collecting and playing and streaming and everything else that we've been doing. Start with the bad, end with the good. Got to end on a positive vibe here. Jacoby, your trick of the last, we'll say, couple years here.
I think for my trick, it would have to be the uprising of set costs and set diversity. We're seeing a lot of this Universes Beyond kind of slowly going from creeping into Magic to kind of being at the forefront.
Not even creeping. It came on like a tidal wave.
Well, I say creeping because it started with a few secret layers a long time ago. It started with a couple of things, and then we got more layers. Then we started getting sets. It started as a slow creep and then immediately snowballed into just taking over, which I'm probably most concerned with how the new sets have been mostly Universes Beyond, because we have TMNT, we're having Avatar, and we just left Spider-Man. 3 Universes Beyond, maybe even 4, if my memory serves correct, like in a straight row without any OG Magic content. I don't hate the idea of us having more interesting IPs. I don't care about TMNT. That doesn't mean I don't want people who do to have it, because I think that's cool. I think that's great. They gave me my Final Fantasy score. But at some point, the question might get posed, what is happening in the universe of Magic the Gathering? And no one's going to have an answer.
Something that I was wishing for in the new year, that Wizards would be taking their IP more seriously. And that's something they really haven't done to this point, where, yes, there's a storyline, but when less than half of the sets in a year are actually on the storyline, it's more just going towards the different Universes Beyond IP. I'm hoping maybe when we inevitably get a Magic the Gathering show or something that might kickstart enough of an interest and people actually care about the Planeswalkers and the story, that they might be able to shift the conversation more in that direction. One thing that I would want to avoid is even having a lore plot line that you have to put out 7 installments per year. It's going to turn into a soap opera. You're going to run out of stuff to talk about, and you're going to constantly have to push to make conflict and content that just exists. That's just a really tough spot to be in.
That kind of goes into the trick that I was going to be talking about, which is just so many sets, just so many sets. There is a time in which people would have loved to see that they had more sets during the year, but that was during a time in which they had only typically 4 and maybe a specialty set quite a few years ago. We've literally just been on this slide into more and more and more. It is becoming exhausting, and especially if you're doing content creation, because I've seen it from a lot of my other friends. They specifically talk about, yeah, you could say that to a consumer that this set's not for you. But if you as a creator skip that, you can in fact just fade into obscurity. It can be super hard if you've hitched your wagon to this, because you cannot really skip a set, and especially talking about it too.
With that as well, on this podcast, we don't really do is set previews. It's just something that we're not particularly interested in. Command Zone, EDH Retcast, everyone seems to be doing set reviews and stuff like that, where I don't know if we'd have anything else that we would add to the conversation necessarily. And that isn't anything as much as we're interested in. But if you're doing set reviews and you put out content on a weekly or biweekly basis, a good chunk of your podcast is going to just be reviewing sets because they're coming out so fast. And it kind of puts you in a creative corner.
And on top of stuff like that, I remember the days of Dragons of Tarkir way back in the times where we only got maybe 3 to 4 sets in a year. And a set would dominate your brain for 3 months at a time. There wasn't this immediate incentive to look at previews for the next set because you had at least a month to just digest only Dragons of Tarkir. Now, we're getting sets so frequently at this point. We know spoilers for the next 2 to 3 sets. We're seeing Avatar, we're seeing Spider-Man and Lorwyn. There's just a lot coming at us.
The scary part of that, too, is we have on the horizon here is the Avatar set, which we haven't really got into full spoiler previews. We got some spoilers from Lorwyn, and we got some spoilers from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That's 3 sets into the future at this point that we know cards from. I just finished up a deck tech for Super Shredder. I should not have information on a Super Shredder card at this point before Avatar comes out. That's insane to me.
It's ridiculous that we are hitting a point where the status quo for things like content creators is having to explore and dive into knowledge and building for things so far in advance because they get released in images or somebody sneaks a shot and they post it on the internet. And suddenly we have to talk about things you're never going to see in paper until 3 months from now or 4 months from now or the start of next year with Lorwyn, if I'm not mistaken. It's just ridiculous.
It is a growing concern. And looking back on, let's just say like around 2017, we had 3 sets, 4 sets per year or so. We'd usually have some kind of master set come out so they could put some reprints of some high demand cards back into the secondary market. They weren't producing anything new necessarily. It was just, we're going to get more Elish Norns out there or whatever it might be. And then we'd also, once a year, we'd have the Commander Precons come out. There'd be 4, maybe 5 of them. I know people that every time a Precon came out, they would just buy them all. It was like a big event whenever happened. Like, oh, the Commander players, we got our decks once a year. Now they're coming out with every set and they just feel less special, or they might skip a set because the IP didn't align or something like that. It's always something of that excuse. It's just harder that used to say like, oh, well, not every set's for you. They all are now because everything's going into standard. If you're a standard player, you have to pay attention to all of them. If you're a modern player, they're all going into modern. Commander players, of course, we're kind of used to it at this point. Everything is for everyone at this point. There's nothing that you can really ignore unless you just don't like the theme of it. You might be at a point where, well, everyone's got the One Ring except me because I didn't want to buy any Lord of the Rings.
And specifically, it is, you can't ever really skip it because even if you don't play with those cards, other people will. And if other people are going to be playing with those cards, you eventually have to know what those cards are/do.
Or you're going to lose a lot.
There's been a lot of that at the current local game store I've been playing at, where I'm a lot more up to date than a lot of the players are. Some of these players still don't even know what some of the Final Fantasy cards do. I played a Y'shtola deck. The buddy I play with on the regular knows Final Fantasy because that's a set he joined in on. But I still have players going like, what is that? What does it do? I've never seen that card before. And I'm kind of just like, huh?
We're all in the content creator space here. We're doing deck techs and spoiler season and everything else. And there's still cards from 2-3 sets ago that I'm like, I didn't realize that came out. It's so hard to keep track of every single card, especially if it's not anything that's traditionally in your wheelhouse of play, where you're not paying as much attention to it. I'll just jump into my trick here. Very straightforward. The way that we're going about getting secret layers has been really terrible for the consumer. And I'm not even going on the sense of you may or may not get what you want, which that is a valid concern. You have people that will jump in the queue within a couple of seconds of the store opening up. They're going to wait 3-4+ hours in a queue and try to hold down as best they can. And then they are not able to get the product they want. And then it also can be very expensive. And it just kind of leaves a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. there's a lot of better ways you can go about doing this. For example, you have the way they do the print to demand with Extra Life, the ones that are for charity, where they just figure out how many are going to be made and then they'll send out that many. Or they might have a preset number that are created. And then as soon as they get to that threshold, the rest will be created, but they'll just print them out after the fact. I think that's a lot safer way of going about doing things. You could even do like a special foiling if you still wanted to create those lines and have a little bit of excitement. I don't think it's anything that we really should be leaning towards being competitive race to go get these cards. I think it's led to more feel bads than actually like people excited about the cards.
I have had an extreme distaste for all of the secret layer shenanigans since the start of Final Fantasy. The instant I had more than just firsthand experience, just watching the outrage on some people, it's basically made of unobtainium. You can't get it without spending such an exorbitant amount of money because their regulations don't necessarily function in a way that I agree with. Things like stores being able to go, yeah, I'm going to hop in queue immediately with all of my employees, and all of them can buy the secret layer, and then we can take it to the store and sell them. No limits, limited stock. I could sit here and talk about it for hours, but I won't. Many ridiculous flaws in the way that it's done, that minor fixes are not enough for me. I feel like they need to completely overhaul the entire process.
Specifically, I have my own anecdotal evidence with this past secret layer drop where I was in line and the only thing that I did not get was the Kieran Yanner secret layer. Unfortunately, got taken out of my cart as I was paying, not waiting in queue, as I was paying. And I was wondering why my payment wasn't going through. And it's because that had sold out from right under me. The other things that we've seen from other people and what happened during the Avengers first secret layer event, where people found the back door to the queue, which completely jumped over people. That's why there was a PSA sent out by Steel City Steph saying, do not reveal your queue ID. It will only serve to hurt you, and people will try to jump in line ahead of you.
The fact that Secret Layers operates on what I would call bizarre tactics is disgusting. It's so dumb. And if you don't know what I mean, bizarre tactics are what you refer to as the literal storefront.
The BAZAAR and not the JoJo variety.
Yeah, not the, oh, this is strange variety, the bizarre tactics. If you want to shop the bazaar for all of its goods, if you physically cannot reach yourself and pay for it before someone else rips it from the stocks, you never have a chance to touch it. I call it bazaar tactics because that's how bazaars operate. If you go to any shopping center where all of their stock is out in front and they don't hold back stock, the Renaissance Festival where you see a particular sword and you and the person to your immediate left are both looking at it, but they buy it first. You're just out of luck.
Or Bazaar Baghdad, where you draw 2 cards and have to discard 3.
Yeah. I hate conceptualizing that online purchases can be within milliseconds of getting access to purchase it and someone rips it from your hands virtually before you ever had a chance.
I think it's time to try and be a little bit more positive. So, Jacoby, what was your treat?
I have the most to say, so now it's my turn for a treat. Levi, do you want to describe our treats one more time?
Yeah, so treat is a trend or something that you've seen in the last 2 years that you think is a positive towards the Magic game or community.
Excellent. So I'm going to kind of cheat.
Boo.
Because listen. It's devil's advocate. I can't help it. In addition to my comment about wanting more lore sets, more Magic content, my treat is the Universes Beyond. And that's because, again, I'm excited that people get their mediums. I was so ecstatic to get Final Fantasy. I know it's not everyone's niche, but it made me and a lot of people really happy. With Marvel actually had a lot of people, etc.
Just like how my treat works into that, a lot of that is just the new players coming in, seeing their perspective on things. Atlanta's MagicCon also had so many different people saying that that was the most that they had seen Black people at a convention, that a lot of the content creators that I associate with and play with, they don't see that many go to a lot of the conventions in Vegas, Philadelphia, Chicago. They were so glad to see that there were so many that came in and were appreciated, well taken care of, able to just play the game with people, especially if it was their first time getting into Magic. That is a treat unto itself, is just the community actually growing and coming together.
Definitely been really cool to see all the new players coming in. Mine is a very minor thing that I did highlight, something that I wanted to see more of. I think it officially releases at the end of October here. There was an option to buy it at the convention, and that was the crossover toys with the Magic cards inside of them. The Anti-Venom and the Spider-Gwen and things of that nature that they had, because I wanted to start seeing the Magic the Gathering IP go the other direction. We were getting a lot of stuff coming into Magic. I wasn't seeing a lot of stuff going outside of Magic. Yes, we've had some like Chandra skins and some video games and stuff like that, but I want to have Magic the Gathering become more popular outside its own market. So people might be interested, oh, well, what's this Magic the Gathering thing? And then come in. Or I can get alternate versions of stuff, like a Magic version of the comic books or whatever it might be. I'm really excited to see that happen because I think it's a step in the right direction towards Magic IP being taken more seriously.
Oh, snap. We're getting cards with our toys now?
We'd love to see it. In the same strain, it's just like how Magic did the Chandra Chocobo during Las Vegas MagicCon, which is super cool. I know that there would probably be so many different people who just want that Chocobo, and that is quite the crossover. Just the fact that a lot of Magic IP did disseminate into a lot of that as well, because I know fellow content creator in the Lobby Pristine, Grem, made an entire Magic the Gathering JRPG that looks like the old Final Fantasy games. It's super fun to play, by the way.
I'm going to need you to send me that link. I need to play it.
I will definitely do that. I'll even have that in the show notes because that game does need to be shouted out more.
Yeah, absolutely. We definitely should get a picture of the Agent Anti-Venom on the screen too. But it's just nice seeing this stuff expand out. Like we got Destroy All Humans, They Can't Be Regenerated manga and stuff like that. It's just nice to see Magic kind of branching out outside of just the game or just like online story articles and stuff like that. That's a trend that I would like to see continue to grow.
That manga slaps, by the way. Go read it.
I would like to hope that we can get more kind of just the idea of the fan art of Magic being things we love, the video games, the manga, the little crossovers of other fandoms, etc., etc. I would really like to see in the upcoming year we get some more of that and see core Magic do some stuff. And it not be Jace for the umpteenth time. No one likes you anymore, guy. You're just a nerd. Go away.
Straight loser behavior.
Rule MTG. If it's a Magic set, Jace is there.
I want Garruk back. Give me Garruk. Garruk is alive again. Do something with him.
Let's transition over before Joe has a full-on rant here. We're going to go into our draft. We're drafting the scariest Magic the Gathering art. Something that's just straight creepy or just unsettling. We're going to do 4 rounds here. Draft order here. We're going to do snake style, which means that I'm going to have the first pick, and then it will shift over from me, and then it will go to Joe, and then Jacoby. And then Jacoby, you'll have the 4th pick. Joe will have the 5th. I'll have the 6th, and so on for 4 rounds. I have the first pick here. My first pick is going to be a notorious promo art that was given to everybody for some reason from Duskmorn. We're starting out with Twitching Doll, or specifically the promo Twitching Doll. That's right. It's a giant little cuddly doll thing with a little goose on its dress, but it's entirely made out of little baby spiders. That is just pure nightmare fuel. As someone who's a bit of a arachnophobe, I don't like it. I don't like that it's staring directly at us. I don't like the little mama spider that makes up the nose and the mouth. That whole entire card can go away. It might be a good card, but I'm not going to play with it.
That was, in fact, in my picks. you bastard.
It's in everyone's picks. Come on now.
We talked with Jacoby before the show. The spider stings does not freak him out.
All right. Well, that is my first pick here. Very simple twitching doll. I think that's probably on the top of a lot of Magic players' lists. Joe, you are at number 2.
First, I have to give out an honorable mention because this was going to be my 1 of 1 or 1 out of 2 pick because it was a scheme, but Levi said no schemes.
And which one was that?
That one was You Cannot Hide From Me. If you look at that art, my God, I do not want to see that thing coming anywhere near me. Not just the multiple hands, not just the multiple fingers on each of those hands, not even just the multiple eyeballs. There's multiple rows of teeth, the elongated jaw, the fact that it looked like it hasn't slept trying to find you. I hate that.
Well, I know what my Halloween costume is going to be now.
But if we're going to the actual pick, then there was a recent secret lair drop that we all saw.
You bastard.
It was, in fact, going to be the Furby Umbris Fear Manifest. That thing will also haunt my nightmares.
For the audience here, they're looking at the scene now, but let's just describe this Umbris for us.
They took the concept of the long Furby that somebody posted online, and it has devolved into this skittering abomination with a mouth below the Furby mouth that is nothing but just sharp teeth.
And you've got the spine protruding out of the back and the wires and the dead stare.
Oh, yeah, it's so cute.
I'm going to stop looking at it.
It's
Don't
so
worry,
beautiful.
it'll see you again in your nightmares.
I don't want that.
I do.
All right, Furby Umbris at number 2. Jacoby, you are up for number 3.
We're going to hit them with an oldie but a goodie. We're going with an old card, a Mirage card. We're going with Delirium. The artwork is this demon who is standing there very deformed and very malnourished. And in the artwork, it's grabbing its skull and it's trying to take it from its body, from itself, physically ripping itself apart.
Hey, sometimes I get a really bad migraine. I understand.
And one of the big reasons you know that it's trying to rip its own skull out is not just holding its forehead. What the spell does is you tap a creature and then it deals damage to itself. Sorry, to the player.
If it was to itself, man, that's spot on with the art. Hi, let me just rip my head off.
The artwork still just has that. It's great. I love it. I love it so much. I'm really hard to scare with these cards.
What's your second pick since you're on the corner?
Coming around the bend here, I'm going to go with, it's less scary, but it's just ugly. Eventide card called Lingering Tormentor. It's just a little 2/2 with fear and persist, but it's got them googly eyes. It's got the tongue out and it's got the googly eyes.
Yeah, definitely looking like those lizard people from Land of the Lost. But it's a spirit?
It's a spirit. It's staring into your soul with its ugly googly eyes, and it doesn't blink.
When your friends warn you she got the crazy eyes, that's what they're referring to. That right there. And the pickaxe for some reason.
It's just looking at you. Its tongue is out, and it's just like, hey,
it's
what
like
you doing
dancing
later?
It's vibing. It's hanging out, having a good time, busting a move.
The boogeyman doesn't disappear when you close your eyes.
The boogeyman breaks down.
Break down and boogie. Joe, you are back on the clock.
In the same strain as the twitching doll, we also got a different Universes Beyond that also haunts my nightmares. Because it's a different being made entirely of spiders. You would think it's Spiders Man. No, this is Spider Manifestation. If you look, that house is not only infested, but then also created a spider being that stares at you with glowing green eyes. No, I don't care if you want me to be a hero. I will actively choose death.
I think that's a little guy.
I think that's the situation in which you just kind of burn your house down, collect the insurance money, and start over. There is no other option.
Yep,
it's just a little guy.
That is incorrect. That is, in fact, multiple little guys making one big guy.
That's a collective little guy. But yeah, definitely fair. The next one for me, top of my list here, is one that it is a lot more scary when you understand the full context. Probably one of the most flavorful cards ever done. A CEDH staple, Ad Nauseum. The mechanic of the card itself is you reveal the cards from the top of your library, put that card into your hand, you lose life equal to its converted mana cost. You can repeat the process any number of times. Constantly digging down to get as much value as you possibly can, or trying to find something, and you're hurting yourself along the way. The art depicted has someone whose eyes are being forced open. It looks like they've been starved. Their hands were obsessively writing a symbol down on mountains of papers that are around them, to the point that their hands have withered away and they have a prosthetic attached to each of their hands that's siphoning out their own blood. Their back muscles have shredded from their posture for so long that you can see their exposed ribs, and they're screaming up at the camera. Like, it is just a relentless assault on their body to continue this obsession. And it is really, the more you understand about the flavor of the card and the flavor text, when this task spilled over to Undeath, he stopped calling it his life's work. The whole collective itself is just haunting.
He's just a cute little guy. Editor, please, for the love of God, put blushy face on him when I say that.
He is not a cute little guy.
He's cute little guy.
Jacoby, why did you say editor? I'm the editor. Just say Joe. Put blushy things on his face.
Do it, Joe. Make me proud.
My goodness.
I'll see what I can do.
The next one here is a card that I don't think I've actually ever played. It is equally haunting, and that is Treacherous Urge. It's an instant spell. It shows a puppet that's being propped up in its hands and feet. Instead of having just a string tied around the wrist, it's a barbed wire punctured through the palm of his hand. You can see the eyes and the mouth wide open, and like this agonizing scream as it's being forced to saw itself in half at the waist. Truly just unnerving to look at and see. Fortunately, it's on a card that isn't particularly good, so we don't see it very often, so it's okay.
Perfectly fine to play in Dimir decks. Bounce the creature to opponent's hand and with like an unsummon, and then you just play that and you're like, oh, hey, look, it's crazy that you had that creature.
It is pretty spicy of an effect to steal a card from hand, borrow for a turn, and sacrifice it, but at 5 mana, I just don't see it being played very often.
100%. You have to really know your opponents well for that one.
Those are my two. Joe, we're back to you for round 3.
And for me, it's an oldie but a goodie from OG Innistrad. It is Skeletal Grimace. You can see this art. That is a skeleton forcing its way out of that person's body through their mouth. It is graphic, and I am reminded of the different kind of horror movies that I saw when I was a kid that just kept me up at night. Seeing something like that, something forcing its way out of your body that way.
Very fair, I guess.
It looks how it feels to have a really bad sunburn on your face.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's never that extreme, but it feels that way sometimes.
For round 3, I'm going with another oldie. Imagine that. All of my cards are old. From Legions, the Drinker of Sorrow. So imagine, you will, you're walking the alleyways, you're minding your business, and then you just turn a corner, and this monstrosity is what you see. And looking at the art, you go, oh, that's not too bad. And then you realize in the bottom left-hand corner, there's a door. This thing is hiding in the alleyways as tall as the buildings, and it just turns to you with its like tendrils and its feetsies and its teeth, and it's just like, oh, I didn't hear you sneaking up on me.
Typical artist trick of door or bird for scale.
And I think it's always fascinating when you get that with that kind of thing, where it's like, oh, that's a terrible monster or whatever, and then like, oh, that thing's a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be. We see this a lot with some other artists like Rob Alexander, his Hallowed Fountain. It just looks like a typical fountain you would see in Italy, but then you see the people on the ground for scale, and it's this massive, massive structure, which if you've ever been to Italy to kind of see the Trevi Fountain or the David, like these things are a lot bigger than you actually would expect them to be. So it kind of takes you on a journey with those kind of cards. I definitely like it when artists in Magic will do little tricks like that to kind of give us some more context.
The idea that this thing is lurking in an alleyway, it rounds the corner and spots you, and it has all of these things to come grab you, more along the lines of what people would be like, ugh. That's why that's my pick. At the top of round 4, I'll leave one of these for the honorable mention. I'm going to choose the Elemental token from Conflux. Most of the time, you look at a 3/1 Elemental, and it's like this fiery whatever aspect surrounded by squares and stuff. The Conflux token is this fleshy, mawed, crackly faced thing covered in fire, just staring off in the distance like a dog.
If I was on a battlefield and I saw that, I would probably poop myself.
You turn the corner, you see that looking at you, and you don't think elemental, and then it bursts into flames as it runs up on you. It's like, oh, it is an elemental. Just the what moment of it all, kind of funny in the spooky way.
Joe, it is your final pick.
I could, in fact, double down and do more spiders, but I think the actual answer I have is the Murders at Karlov Manor ooze token. If I ever see something like that in real life, I am just going to, I will rather just die, because that is evoking, if either of you have seen the 1980s version of The Blob, there is a scene in there that is otherworldly. I do not want, where the guy is just full on gelatinous ooze dying inside from being acidically broken down. And that's what you see in this image, is the multiple creatures that were just acidically broken down by this ooze. It is a fate that I do not want.
Definitely a spooky card. That is for sure.
Says absolutely not.
I've definitely noping out of that fate. Not dealing with that. Nope. For my final one, and obviously there's so many creepy looking cards in Magic. There's no way we would have to make a draft episode that's like 10 hours long to get them all in. So we're not doing that today. But the one that I will end on was actually one of the first cards I ever owned, and it has been effectively crept out of Magic in its entirety at this point. It is Terror, the original art for Terror. So it's kind of a little trinity of a human that has his muscles, his skeleton, and then his outside like skin and clothes frame kind of getting torn away from itself in a loop out of the mouth. And it looks just incredibly painful and nasty. The card itself used to be a lot better. It's destroy target non-artifact, non-black creature, can't be regenerated. But then we got Doomblade and Go for the Throat, stuff for non-legendary, Fell, Deadly Rollick. You don't need your 17th piece of creature spot removal in a deck. So it doesn't see a lot of play, but it's definitely a card that is near and dear to my heart. But it is a very terrifying and impressive piece of art. So shout out to Adam Rex on that one.
Do we want to get to honorable mentions?
Yeah.
We can get to a couple honorable mentions if you have something that you think is definitely worth its due.
I got one.
Okay.
It's the Friday Night Magic 2014 Bile Blight. People are soup.
Oh,
People are soup.
I do not like that.
People are soup.
People are soup.
I don't know.
Little soup guy's still holding on to his sword. He's doing his best.
And the funny thing is if you look in the background, there's another guy being soup.
Double soup.
I hate this. I hate this a lot.
The reason it didn't get past the elemental token was just the fact that the token went from, a fiery thing to just this creature of spook.
My honorable mention is kind of on the OG art from Jesper Meerfors. Probably mispronounced that. So it's the limited edition alpha Pestilence. So it has just kind of an image of this person. They're kind of foaming from the mouth. They're obviously sick with like something like close to the plague. Very old school 1990s art kind of a style to it. A little unsettling to look at for sure. So usually if I have to put Pestilence in a deck, I want to go for one of the newer art versions if I can.
100%.
Because I don't know what that person has, but I do not want it. And take
And
us
then-
home, Joe.
Of course, I have to end with the spider. And we are going to be talking about something that, before the show, Jacoby was talking about. It is, in fact, the Duskborn spider that is made from Twitching Doll, because that spider is not only big, but in fact has multiple human eyeballs jutting out of it.
He's just a
Yeah.
little guy.
That, for me, that just blows my mind. They're like, yeah, let's do that. Like, that's very, very mean.
He's just a little guy.
If you've got human eyes attached to your spider body, you're no, we're not doing that no more.
We are in fact noping out. I'm done. I'm just done.
Levi's loading the shotgun. We're not doing this anymore. Click, 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 click.
No, we're not doing shotgun. We're doing flamethrower. We're burning the house down.
Man, I wish that would not just immediately have the spiders being on fire and coming towards me.
Well, you got to run faster than the spider. If you can't do that, you need to train more.
It's got 4 times the legs, so that means it's 4 times the speed.
More legs, more fun.
He's just a little guy.
I am uncomfy.
All right. Well, we will end our Halloween special here. Obviously, happy spooky seasons to all who celebrate. I'm Levi.
I'm Jacoby.
And I'm Joe.
And this is the Thought Vessel. I hope you enjoyed the show.
Take care.
It's right behind you!
Ah!